We have our August 10th memo. Just a couple of clarifications. I think really the narrative needs to be expanded to, kind of follow what Natalie was talking about, the number of events, and then we have a maximum attendees at 199, but, what are the typical, I'll say, events going to be? Is it going to be every event? So we need some real clarifications there. The other items of concern are emergency access. I don't know if the ESOs have seen the plans yet. I think that's real critical here. In terms of parking and traffic, we want to see really a traffic parking management plan, but that really depends on each event and the number of people, because you're going to have a different plan for a small event versus 199 people. It also is not clear what improvements in terms of access improvements are being advanced with this. On one of the previous applications, again, much more involved. There were certain off-site improvements on the state highway system. So, I think we need to just have a lot more information presented on the plans, depicting what is going to be done externally, if anything, and that we can provide more detailed comments.
Questions for Phil?
I read in one of the memos about amount of parking that's being provided is not enough for 199 attendees and staff, correct?
Correct.
So then, based on the amount of parking, right, increase parking space and lower, or vice versa?
Are there areas for temporary parking? I think
Yes.
it just has to be specified. There's not enough information.
Can I inform the board a little bit? Yep. The events are typically valet parking. So there is an area to the rear of the building where the cars are parked, and when the person is ready to leave, the car is retrieved. So in terms of, it's not the traditional park yourself. So it's done, and it's very important. Well, it's very interesting to think of it because this is also not a typical. We had some discussion with the village board in the process. You have admission events and you have invitation events. So admission event, you want to go to hear somebody play music, you buy a ticket. Typically, you go, you park, and you go in and listen. An invitation event is typically something like a wedding, which is typically what Rushmore has been doing, hosting. There are other kinds of similar events, and that's one of the things that we would like to get some feedback from you on. For example, there may be a bar mitzvah for a child who has 25 relatives. That's not the same, obviously, as the 199 participant events. It's also very controlled. It's also typically on a very specific schedule. It's different than a wedding, which in the case of Rushmore is fairly elaborate, and we can provide you with a video link that shows an example of what weddings are like. But it's a fairly upscale facility. It is, valet parking is not unusual for that. And it's something where the only people who come, have invitations, or are employed there. So there's the ability to regulate the size and nature of the activities that take place.
Like Phil said, it just needs to be disclosed. If you will have enough parking, if you're gonna
Yes,
max
yes.
out 199 people.
That's very
That's
much
all.
been the conversation. What can we do here? Because we don't want to change the existing character at this point in time. It's obviously an estate. It's got a history with it. It is, if you've ever been there, it's a really nice place.
Yeah.
And it looks like a nice place. And if there's a wedding, the people come on Friday, they leave on Sunday. Monday, it looks like the nice place that you all know. So it is, those kind of events are somewhat different than the typical use, which involves, if you go down past the school, they have parking for buses, they have parking for administrators, they have parking for people who come to visit, and that parking doesn't go away. It's an office building in the middle of a parking field. This is a different thing than that, and that's something we want to emphasize because there may be an event which has 199 people. The threshold is actually set by the law. It's not set because
Right.
Seth doesn't want to have 200 people. But in that circumstance, there are temporary things which we can do once or twice a year to park 25 cars here, 25 cars there, or whatever. And Larry will be able to explain that.
It will be able to.
Yeah, but it's also very à la carte in the sense that we need to tell you what an event's like, you approve the events and the plan for those events, and we implement that. So we are trying to figure out how do we do that when we have 199 once a year, and when we have, 10 bar mitzvahs with 25 people there. Those people can park in front of the building. So it's something that we have to work through with you so we can get this done right. Mr. Pulver is very concerned about making sure this works for the village as well as for himself. So we are going to talk to your consultants. We're going to address the issues they've raised and come back to you with what we believe are solutions that work for Rushmore and for the village. And we'll be able to tell you this has been the way we've been doing it. You don't have to worry about this should work. You'll be able to hear how it has worked. So if there's anything else, or Mr. Pulver's here if you have any specific questions.
On Larry's narrative, and again, Larry's not here to speak to it there, he states there's 4 entrances and exits to Rushmore. I know of 2 off Castleton. I know Ice House Road isn't improved.
I think there are 4 ways to get there, but I'll let Seth tell you where they are. I know.
I was curious what the other, curious what the other 2 are.
Yes, so am I.
Unless it was just a typo in Larry's, was there a typo in Larry's narrative?
There is a service. Seth Pulver from Rushmore State. Hello, everybody.
Good evening.
So there are 4 ingresses and egresses. The main brick driveway is the first one. There's a service driveway, gravel driveway that goes to the back, directly to the pool in the lake.
That's the one with the gate, right? The iron gate right after the main
The farm
one.
gate, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And then there is Ice House Road, as you noted, that goes all the way through from Castleton to Quaker.
But that's not improved all the way through, right? I know there was, when we were talking about the winery, there were improvements that had to be made on Ice House.
There were discussions about that, but it is accessible for all emergency vehicles. The fire trucks did come up there a few weeks back.
I'm saying, if I wanted to, like right now, I could drive a car up that with no problem?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go through and through if you want. And then the 4th one is the 2 entrances to the additional lots that add to the main lot. If you go past, if you go down the driveway, make a left, and you pass Ice House Road on the left, if you keep going, there's another entrance with 2 gravel driveways that go into the property. That's the 4th ingress and egress.
And that dumps out on Ice House Road too?
That merges to Ice House Road about halfway down the hill there, because it leads to 2 separate lots that are vacant that I was lucky enough to purchase over time that added to the main lot. So those are entrances to different part of the property, actually.
Yeah, that was my one question when I saw the narrative, because I wasn't sure where those other 2
I'll make everything crystal clear. I understand everything.
came from. And I mean, as far as, George, as far as you talk, I mean, at this point, I think you're going to have to, if you're going to have to, I know you're saying it may happen once a year, the 199, but I think this board is going to look for you to plan for the worst, be able to show that you can
Of course.
accommodate the worst,
Yeah.
and if the worst doesn't happen, then
No question.
Yeah, that's it. What's your max? And then
Yeah.
we know you can.
We call that the
If you-
best.
if you- if you-
We call
if you
that the
get-
best, not the worst.
It's best for you.
okay, best for you, but if you can get 199 people in there and show that it all works, then
Yeah,
we know that your
absolutely.
smaller venues should not be a problem.
But this more or less relates to frequency. The question was, how many events will you have?
But if it happens once a year, we need to make sure, even once a year,
Yeah,
it will work.
That can handle it. That's
If
all.
we do it once, we got to fit it.
Yeah.
We're clear on that.
Yep.
But when we talk about frequency, we have not-for-profit events that are basically where Seth has offered use of the property
Right.
for a not-for-profit to meet or to do a charitable event. And he's concerned because Under the current arrangement, he has to count those against the events as allowed. So we want to be clear with you, and we'd like to get your input on this. If we can do those kind of events, which are typically smaller inside and not,
We want to separate that, so you've got your current consent agreement, but this is for you
Right.
going forward.
Correct.
For all
That's
the best events.
the way I was thinking.
Those, even if they're the best events or they're the smaller events, all of those need to be included, because they're not happening now, they're happening in the future after this board takes its action. So all of those should be included, whether it's a fundraiser or a bar mitzvah or a blowout wedding.
no, I'm not disputing that. All I'm saying is, if we tell you we're going to have 80 events and 60 of them are bar mitzvahs, it's not likely to have the same impact as 80, 199 people weddings.
I don't think that's this board's concern.
Well, no.
I think you know what we're saying.
understand.
If you have one a year, 199
Make
people,
sure
you
see
how do you
sure it
fit the
works.
parking there for one
We
year?
got that.
That's
Yep, I think that's what we're
That's
looking
it.
at. If-
That's what
Yeah.
you're looking at. But
That's what we're
we
looking
wanna
for.
Just separate that from, that's not the consent agreement, and we don't,
Right.
this is after that's
Thank you.
Right.
done, and
Right, once your lawyer-ish is done with each other and we're going forward, and
It's not going to matter if it's for profit or not. You don't
Right.
get it right. Thank you.
we hope you have more than events that have 199 people in them. I mean, that would mean you're doing very well, so.
Right, and kind of to that point, right, there's nothing precluding them from having 80, 199.
Right, no.
Right, so I mean, it's,
No, nobody's looking to preclude anything. We're looking,
Right,
this
yeah.
board is just looking at, this is what the most, like we do with every application. What
Yep,
is the most
worst case
intense
scenario.
use
Yep.
that's gonna
Best
happen
case,
there?
Sorry.
And
I
then,
agree.
as long as we know the most intense use can be handled, then everything that falls underneath that
Is easy.
is easy for you.
Okay. The other thing I just wanted to clarify, it requires that we specify the means of amplification.
Yes.
And that's typically somebody will hire a band, they'll come in, and it'll be a standard band with standard stuff. Do we have to get the type of amplifiers for each one of those events, or?
No, I think we're,
you know, like,
are you going to have a Metallica concert there where they truck in 18 truckloads of speakers and subwoofers,
Metallica's not playing?
or you're gonna just have a DJ there that has a couple of, I think, again, we're just looking for what your vision is, what is the most intense you're gonna have there. If you're gonna tell us, yeah, we're gonna have rock concerts there, then we've gotta look at,
Of course, no.
you know,
That's next year.
right.
He's mentioned the possibility. That's why it took so long to get in here. We were working through what we should be doing versus what we could be doing. So we'll describe it generally as the nature of the music that will be played at the
Yeah, I think everybody here's been to weddings and bar mitzvahs, and I think everybody knows what to expect, and that's, we wanna know if you're gonna go above that. Otherwise, we're gonna say, weddings, bar mitzvahs, the normal sound level associated with those types of events.
which again, we've been doing for he's been doing for 2 years and no complaints.
You can set a limit on the sound system too.
Well, I don't,
Yeah, well,
I don't think-
that's what the building department.
yeah, as long as we review it as what is, he's expected to have there, and then I think that's, we're doing our
Any
due diligence.
music system that doesn't require a trailer tractor to transport,
Yeah, if it's under an 18-wheeler full of speakers, I think we'll be okay.
The wall of sound.
So,
I'm not sure how I'm gonna write that condition, though.
well, that's why you have the cool little letters after your name.
Right, I'll figure it out.
So I think some homework, both applications, and then we'll look forward to your next submissions.
and Larry will be answering these questions, not me.
Mr. Larry, and we get him back to,
Okay,
thank you
Okay,
guys.
thank you
Thank
for your
you.
time.
Good night.
Keep
Good night.
it busy while it's laid up, and
oh, wait, you know what? Type 2, right?
this is, yes.
Okay.
Take seeker action, this is a type 2 action under seeker, so make that a motion.
I will offer a motion to type this type 2 in the secret and declare our intent to be lead agency.
Second.
Just typing it,
Oh, come on, I just want to rumble it all together.
just to type.
Fine, I'll just type, I'll take back the last half of my motion and just make it.
I'll still second
Okay,
it.
questions?
If it'll make you feel better, you can make a motion to approve.
I'm not that tired. Good try, though.
It was referred to the county, we don't have anything back yet. But the consent agreement is in place just for this board's knowledge, if you're not already aware of it. So the sooner that Larry gets back on his feet or works from home and we can get something in.
Oh, wait, you know what? We got a second, we never voted. Again, Claudia's going to beat me over the head.
She's giving you the evil look.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Can we go to the ESOs for a
let's wait till we have a better plan, with a little bit more with the parking and stuff like that, where you're laying that all out, because they're gonna wanna see. I mean, I already spoke to Chief Burke about some things, but they're gonna wanna see the layout of the parking and stuff, the overflow parking and stuff, and then we'll make the referral.
Okay,
All right?
thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen. Good night. All right, being no further business before the board, I'll offer a motion to close.
Second.
Second, all in favor? Aye.